We would like to introduce Pauline Potter. The American is already in the Guinness Book of Records and was considered the heaviest living woman in the world at 292 kilograms. She broke her own record a few years later when she weighed almost 310 kilos, making her heavier than a piano or a full-grown male gorilla, which weighs just 220 kilos. However, Pauline's extreme weight not only brought her media attention, but above all, medical and social problems. That's why we want to take you into her everyday life today and show you what a day looks like in the life of the heaviest woman in the world. We will also show you how her extreme weight gain came about in the first place and what she can expect in the future. Let's start with Pauline's everyday life. The American lives in Sacramento, California, together with her grown-up son Dylan. Like almost everyone else, Pauline's day starts early in the morning. However, the heaviest woman in the world does not sleep in a normal bed, but in a special bed that can support her weight. She also sleeps in a semi-sitting position because she is afraid that she will be crushed by her weight and suffocate while sleeping. Getting up also causes enormous problems for the woman weighing 300 kilograms. Pauline is constantly dependent on help. As a rule, 21-year-old Dylan takes care of his mother, but Pauline's niece also comes to visit them several times a week. She takes over the physical care. But because Pauline can no longer fit into her shower, she has to sit in front of it so that her niece can wash her hair. The rest of her body is washed in bed with several washcloths. Dylan then takes over the rest of the care because his mother also needs help getting dressed. And while other 21-year-olds are partying and enjoying their freedom, Dylan has to put his mother's pants on because Pauline can no longer bend over. For the young man, this is an extreme situation that has a major impact on his life because he has to look after his mother around the clock, do the laundry, and go shopping. He has no job and no friends. He lives a secluded life, which is not normal for his age. After getting dressed, Dylan has to take care of breakfast, but it doesn't consist of muesli, fruit, or yogurt. Instead, Pauline likes to eat something unhealthy in the morning, and Dylan gets breakfast from a fast food restaurant in the neighborhood. In general, everything in her life revolves around food, and the American eats up to 10,000 calories a day. Her diet consists mainly of junk food. She eats several hamburgers a day, drinks liters of cola, and her snacks consist of ice cream and other sweets. And she doesn't eat at a table in the kitchen, but directly in bed or on the sofa. This is also where Pauline spends most of the day, as physical movements cause her a lot of pain. Her knees in particular are damaged due to her weight, and every step takes a lot of effort. In order to remain mobile, Pauline is dependent on a special electric wheelchair. Until recently, she used it to go on trips into town, and a special bus picked her up from home. The bus is equipped with a hydraulic ramp, but the American is now so heavy that the hydraulics fail under her weight. This is not just annoying. Pauline is now ashamed of her kilos and suffers from the situation, because even when she wants to accompany her son to the supermarket, she faces a major challenge. She doesn't fit into the family car, so Dylan has to drive up in the car, and Pauline follows behind in her wheelchair. But why did Pauline get so fat in the first place, and what led to her unpleasant world record? Let's take a brief look at the American's past. Pauline Potter was born in 1963 in the US state of California. She had a happy childhood, and her weight corresponded to the norm. At the age of 6, however, her parents divorced, and her mother had to support Pauline and her 5 siblings all by herself. They got into great financial difficulties, and on some days, the family didn't even have money for food. Pauline and her siblings went hungry, and it was only when her father returned to the family that the financial situation improved. Psychologically, however, Pauline was still very bad, and the fear of going hungry has dominated her life ever since. Even as a child, she would sneak into the kitchen at night to eat in secret, and her drastic weight gain began at the age of 8. By the time she was 19, she weighed 130 kilograms. She then had her son Dylan in her mid-20s and already weighed over 180 kilos at the time. Her future husband Alex did not help her lose weight either. On the contrary, he loved every kilo of her and even fed her junk food to make her gain even more weight. She eventually split up with him, but the heartbreak caused her to eat more, and by the time she was in her late 40s, she weighed almost 310 kilos. But now back to her everyday life. An everyday life that is often plagued by suffering. Not only is she barely able to move, she is also constantly exposed to the stares and hostility of strangers. Even at home, she can't find peace, because children and teenagers keep turning up at her window and making fun of her. She also feels guilty towards her son. She is aware that she herself is responsible for her situation, and said in an interview that her severe obesity is mainly due to her eating habits. Although there is also a genetic predisposition in her family, doctors have been able to rule out a medical cause. Her situation was therefore set to change fundamentally in 2016, and the everyday life we have just presented to you is fortunately no longer entirely relevant from 2021 and on. Pauline finally wanted to lead a normal life again, and decided to put herself in the hands of a specialist. A doctor from Houston was asked to reduce the size of her stomach, and Pauline even moved to the Texan city with her son to be treated there. A team of experts looked after the American, put her on a diet, and forced her to follow a sports program. Before her stomach could be reduced in size, Pauline had to lose a lot of weight. Finally, the time had come, and the single mother finally had the long-awaited operation that would change her life. Over the years, further diets and serious setbacks followed. Pauline had to undergo emergency surgery for a stomach ulcer, and further operations to remove the excess skin were also scheduled. But Pauline did not give up, and today, just a few years after the operation, she is hardly recognizable. She has lost an incredible 200 kilograms of body weight, and now weighs just over 100 kilos. She now pays attention to a healthy diet, counts calories, and does sport. Her life, and that of her son, has changed drastically, and Pauline feels good in her body. She has sworn to herself that she will never fall back into old patterns, and has become a role model for many people. And that's it for our video. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and see you next time here at Wisefool.